Good morning again. This is Bill Gens with TopSolid USA. I'm the Sales and Technical Director. I see a few people are still joining, so we'll give it a sec here. Again, if you haven't joined us in any of our previous webinars, I'm also joined by Joe Hart, our Technical Manager, and Mike Kay, our Sales Manager. Again, we're going through Drafting, Translators, and Web Explorer in this webinar. So let's go into Drafting. And as I was saying, we made a nice improvement to the drafting bundle. And it's basically an auto formatting. So if you've used drafting bundles in the past and you brought your drawings in, you had to manually manage the size of each drawing, so it's kind of a pain. Let's go into TopSolid and I'll show you how this new improvement works. So I'm going to just make a new drafting bundle on the fly. And if you've never done this, consider this your tutorial on how it works. So we're going to start with the drafting bundle. We'll just escape out of that inclusion. And this new command here is what we're going to deal with. It's called nesting draftings. Now, first I want one drafting by page, so I want to make sure this is set to true. And then I use the special inputs button here to browse and select the drawings that I want to use. Okay, and also teach you a little bit of shorthand on how this all works. So if I go into my manufacturing documents and I go into my draftings, for example, I want to start with this as my main page. Then I want to go to my extruded bars and I'm going to hold Control to add that first page. I'm going to come down here to page 24 and I'm going to hold Control Shift to add the rest of it. And then I'll expand my assemblies here. Again, I'm going to hold Control here, Control Shift to there, and we'll green check. Go ahead and hit the green check mark here, and now it's going to auto-create all the pages of this drafting bundle. And if I go to my page sorter up here, you can see all the pages were included. And more importantly, you can see where the page sizes are changing. Okay? And the whole idea here is that it's automatically organizing all of it. Okay? So that's the improvement. Excuse me. All right, let's go back to our presentation. Next, let's talk about some improvements to the dimensioning command. First of all, the tolerance section now offers an option to automatically display the tolerance as it appears in the 3D document. I'm going to go live and show you that in a second. As well as there's a new option to allow you to assign a scale factor to the height defined for the tolerance. So let's go look at that. So first of all, I'll open up my Deke little part. You can see here the diameter 15 with an H8 tolerance, and then my diameter 15 with a manual tolerance. So if I open up my draft document, and we'll zoom up here. First things first, I'm just going to go to the dimension command, and if I look here, notice it displays the tolerance as it was in 3D, as it was in 3D. Okay, and the reason why it's displaying the tolerance that way is because here the tolerances type and deviation displays are set to automatic, meaning it's going to do exactly the way it was created in 3D. Now, if we want to modify, for example, the scale of the tolerance, we can go in and modify the actual dimension, right? And if we come on down to, to text here, you have overlay text size font factor. And for example, maybe I want to make it really obvious to the guys on the floor with the tolerances. Or we just want to make it a bit smaller. It just has to be there. So you have this ability to now override the font size for the tolerance. Let's go on back to our presentation. Next, in all of the dimensioning fields, anywhere that you can add text to a dimension, a prefix, a suffix, whatever, we've added the special inputs button. That's that little orange button right there, right? I'll highlight it with the laser. That's this thing right here, okay? And you have access now to a bunch of standard symbols. You can also access additional symbols through the More Symbols special inputs button down there. Let's have a look. There we go. So let's go add a dimension. I'm going to say, let's just dimension from here to here. Okay, and now I'm going to add a suffix to this, and in my suffix I'm going to hit my special inputs, and again I can add whatever symbol I need to here. For example, I want to add that. Okay, or I want to add a different type of symbol, so I'm going to go here, delete that, and we can go down to the more symbols, and you can see currency, dimension symbols, drilling symbols, Greek capital letters, small letters, mathematical symbols, whatever. Just right at your fingertips. Turn that off. Go. Next, new automatic dimensioning for extruded bars. Basically, what we're trying to do here is, for those of you dealing with structural components like this, hollow square tubing, I-beam, steels, whatever, we want to make it as simple as possible for you to get the correct dimensions. Okay? So, first option is this length dimension before cut that you see here, right? So this calculates either to the length it was prior to making these cuts or to the length it is right there, right now. Okay, so depends on what you want. And then you have how the X dimensions or Y dimensions or X plus Y dimensions are displayed, whether we're going to show all of them, only relative to X, only relative to Y. And again, with the angle dimensions, similar choice. Are we measuring it from 0 or from 90? So let's go have a look at that. Close these down. Okay. We go to detailing here, and we say automatic dimensions. Okay. So first of all, length before and after. Okay. And then angle cut. Do we want to measure with the angle this way relative to X, or do we want to measure it relative to Y? And then do you want X and Y dimensions? Only X, only Y. Okay, so you have a lot of good choices there within the new or the newly updated automatic dimensions with regards to extruded bars. I just saw a question on can the symbols be inserted between typed text? The answer is yes to that. A symbol is a symbol. It's like using symbols out of the Microsoft font function as well. So yes, you can type text, add a symbol, type more text. Okay. Go back to our presentation. Next, lateral drilling's automatic notes and dimensions. So the improvement here is that you can now add with the automatic drilling dimension command or drilling note command or drilling tables command, you can automatically reference lateral holes. Okay? The point here is that you have to first have created an axis representing the center line of the hole. All right, so let's go take a look at that. Back to TopSolid. All right, so we have a part, right? And our part, you can see we have drillings on the face there and on the face here, here, and here. These drillings are, of course, hidden because of the view type. So I'm going to start by doing an automatic axis on this. We'll green check it. So that creates my axes there. I'll do the same thing on this view. Okay. And then we can go to the detailing command and we can go here, select our view, and we can get our notes, our dimensions to the drillings, provided we activate this option, take side axis into account. Okay, and you can use any of the options you want here. Okay, as well as you can have continual dimensions and continue mode relative. This is also a new change. This continue mode has been separated from here, so you can have continued mode on any of the dimension styles that you decide. Okay. Now, if we look at this from the side here, again, you can see the nice dimension automatic to the center line. Next, a continuation of automatic dimensioning. Okay, so automatic composite dimensions have been improved to take into consideration cylindrical or vertice detection. All right, and then you can get dimensions on any, I'm going to say, simpler type of part. Let's have a look. This one, let's go to this one. I'm going to delete these and we'll create them from scratch. So if I go to detailing here, and again, I go to automatic composite dimensions. So we have our view selected. I don't want to worry about drillings. I want vertices. Okay. Maybe I don't want any of the cylinders, just the vertices. Maybe I want to have a specific style of dimension like so. Okay. If we want, we can come down here as well and control how this is being grouped. Okay. So we can use auxiliary axes for isolated geometries. We can then group isolated geometries. We can then use 2 axes for isolated geometries. You can see what that means. And now you have a cleaner set of dimensions. Okay. And of course, you're always setting where you want your zero reference to be. And it can be to a manual point, even doesn't matter to us. Okay. Perfect. Let's keep going. All right. Next, let's talk about the projected annotations and editing. I had made mention of this, I think on the first webinar topic, or maybe the second one when we were going into the sketcher, where we changed the name of half-part dimensions, or 2 half-part dimensions, right? And the fact that you have short, long, narrow, whatever types. However you do it in 3D, it projects now in Drafting. Okay. As well, there's a new option here in Tools Options to go to you go to Drafting, and down here you can decide what a double left click on a view will do. It's either going to edit the detailing or edit the view. Remember, editing the detailing would be if you were going to add additional geometries or points or whatever to Dimension 2. Editing the view takes you back into the projection settings of the view. So you have control over what the double left mouse button click will do. Keep going. This one is again more for the TopSolid steel product. This gives you an idea of what that product is all about. It's designing stuff like this, and it's a level, note, altitude command that allows you to easily identify the level or the altitude things are at. Okay. Now, this next one, modify table headings. This one's pretty cool. The content of the headers of any automatically generated table, BOM, drilling table, whatever, can now be modified and even rotated. I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to TopSolid here. Go to the rotate header command. All right, so we have this bill of material here, right? I'm going to take this bill of material and I want to edit the table. From there, right now, these have always, you couldn't do anything with them, right? They were non-modifiable. So first, you can now make them modifiable. I could change the text if I want to items, who knows, right? And then I can even rotate it. Oops, there we go. So that it's like that. Or you can rotate it again so it's upside down and keep rotating it so that you can choose any of the standard within 90-degree increments that you want that to be. Perfect. The yellow, by the way, just tells you that it's been modified. It won't print that way. Okay? All right, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, this one is pretty cool. I think some of you might have been waiting for this. So in BOM tables, it is possible now to group common items. Okay, so if the material is the same, it'll group them automatically like so. If the description or designation is the same, it'll group them automatically like that. So I have a bunch of 1/4 by 2 inch long screws, right? They're coming from different assemblies. I can now group them. For each of the groups, subtotals can now also be calculated. Okay, so you can have subtotals across the board on things. kind of cool. The choice of the groups is done in the bill of material on the desired column. Okay, you have merge identical, you have allow grouping. Okay, the choice of the column with subtotal is also made in the BOM. You see here it says allow subtotal. Okay. Other little enhancements now, you can add a hyperlink to an image. So you can edit your image and you can add a URL to it if you wanted to. So someone can click on that image, it'll take them to your company's website. Within the sketch text command now allows you to retrieve the document tree as well, so that you know the directory or the location of this object within your project tree. You can now define the starting point of the arrow of the BOM indexes, as you can see here. And then after modifications of several annotations or views without changing their styles, you can use Restore Style to undo the modifications. So you can right click on your annotations here and just restore the styles if you need to. Do hyperlinks remain active when the drafting is exported as a PDF? I'm going to say 93% yes. I believe the answer is yes. Okay, so those are the major new improvements. Let's talk about some improvements to translators. There's a couple things. The new construction parameter, other parameters, IFC owner history command allows you to define the property information that will be exported with the IFC document. IFC is a translator used in the construction world. Again, this is part of TopSolid Steel. You can now import configurations from SolidWorks with the TopGMI import. For those of you not familiar with TopGMI, it's a plugin that we've made that can be installed into SolidWorks as an add-on, and they can choose to export in TopGMI format. And now during that export, it'll allow us to see and grab a specific configuration. The deep peeling option has been added to the general options of the spatial translators for poor quality step or IGES files. You'll find this within the spatial translator options. You can turn it on if you need to. If you get some step or IGES files from older softwares that do a bad job, we'll say, you can go and try and turn on this option to correct that. As regards assembly exporting, so you can export sets as assemblies. When you create a parasolid step, whatever, and the structure of the selected assembly is then exported for you. FBX files, which are a 3D printing format, can be imported as a polyhedron or faceted shape. As a polyhedron or faceted shape, you can do anything that you can do to polyhedrons and faceted shapes, such as machine them. Now you can export with the GitF and Redwave formats. Okay, this is for the rendering people out there. Cool. Finally, if any of you guys are using TopSolid Web Explorer, we've made a couple of little improvements to that. The project navigation dialog box has been changed to Windows Explorer. Document representations are now available in a drop-down list. You can now change the transparency of a part or a shape. The vertical lock command has been added for rotations. Share document button allows you to copy the document URL or create an email with a link to the document. The About command has been added to TopSolid PDM Web Explorer back. Cool. All right, so I see some questions coming in, so let's take a minute to look at those. Do hyperlinks, I don't know if I answered that one. Does the option eliminate the need to manually run the heal and simplify command? So the whole idea of that option is, in the translator, is to try to do it during the translation. Personally, and it's a deeper cleaning, so it may be worth it. Personally, my piece of advice to you guys is anything you turn on during the translation makes the translation take longer. Okay? In some cases, it's worth the effort, and you'll just have to experiment to find out when that effort or when that case is. Personally, I like to import it without any of that stuff turned on and see how it comes in, play with the standard tools, and if I need more, I may turn it on again and try it. Is Web Explorer a separate module, and what does it cost? Yes, it is a separate module. It requires you to have a PDM server, and it requires you to have a web server on your premises, and then it allows you to access your PDM data through a web app on your cell phone, a tablet, a computer, whatever. Okay. As far as the cost, I don't recall what it is off the top of my head, but Mike K is listening, so I'll make sure that he reaches out to you with some more information on it. Does anyone else have any questions on any of the items discussed during this webinar? If not, we'll hope to see you guys at 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time, where we will go over TopSolid tooling. Again, TopSolid tooling is updates to TopSolid Split, Mold, Progress, and Strip Design.